Shannon Sharpe, I gotta call you out. Welcome everybody to the program. It's your boy Black Ortiz here, and in this in this political climate, and as I'm here to do what I can in speaking out, as well as other personal things that I'm doing in my community to help build the black community up. I needed to call out someone that is a personality on television. He was one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer. He's the co-host of my former favorite show, Undisputed, with Skip and Shannon. That's Shannon Sharpe. And I love Shannon Sharpe as a talk show host from the first time I saw him fill in for Stephen A. Smith with Skip Bayless. And at that time, if you know me, and I just want to take a few minutes to do this because this may be a long program, and I don't want it to go too long, but this is probably gonna be a long program. But he filled in on First Take for Stephen A. And Stephen, and usually Skip Bayless doesn't miss. He never misses his shows. When he was doing First Take, as now when he does Undisputed, he rarely ever misses. And miss not even being in the studio. He's usually always in the studio. But on First Take, they have certain people fill in, and they were okay, but they just did not match. It just did not fit together. But when Shannon Sharpe came on, they felt it almost, there was not a degradation of the program from Stephen A. Smith being on the program. And it was great, and I really enjoyed it. And so when they decided to do a program on Fox when Skip left and Shannon joined, I mean, at first it was a little rough because I wasn't used to Shannon being so country. But when you see that that was part of his, his stick, and how Skip Bayless began to just set him up to be funny, to be who he is, and blow up as an analyst like he is now, you just seen the chemistry, and I loved it. And I never missed it. I'm talking about no matter where I was in the country, no matter if I was at work or not, I never missed a minute of Undisputed. And I would watch different segments on the way home. I used to have about an hour and a half commute home, and I would watch it then. And so, but I just used to, I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News. I do not listen to. I'm not on Facebook anymore as a a personal consumer of Facebook. I'm the Black Ortiz is on Facebook, but not myself. And so I don't like to when I delve into politics, when I delve into issues, I want to receive those issues unfiltered. And so that's the reason why I don't watch CNN. I don't watch these other news outlets, as well as Facebook, because it's another news outlet. And so, but and that's why I watch sports programming. I watch a lot of YouTube and different things like that, because I don't want to hear that type of stuff, because it's nothing but division, because division is profit to certain people. And I'm talking about that, and I want to get off subject here. I've been talking about 4 minutes. So, but all of a sudden, I realized Shannon Sharpe becoming more and more political, more and more bent towards a certain political, way. And I'm like, man, I'm here to hear you do your little, to be funny, to talk about sports. I want to hear about football. I want to hear about basketball. I want to hear about baseball. I want to hear your little anecdotes about your grandmother and your grandfather. I want to see you go back and forth with Skip. I want to see Skip serve you up some easy, funny things for you to knock out the park. You guys were, to me, the best program, live programming, unscripted program on television. I thought it was just, there was nothing better, and I loved it. But more and more, it was about politics, and especially when we got into 2020, which is probably the worst year of anybody's recollection, the most political year, because of what the object of 2020 was, and that was, they had one goal. And so we're not going to get into that. So we're just going to still talk about Shannon. And so after the election, and of course, certain people were happy about the election, certain people were miserable about the election. But you know what? Those who wanted to feed into their misery went onto Fox and found out and wanted to figure out how this could not have happened. And then people who wanted to feed into their enthusiasm and their happiness about what happened in the election, they're gonna go over to CNN so they can be built up and say, "Wow, we did it." I didn't want to do any of that because I didn't want to be a part of it, you know. So I go to sports, and of course, this man is just unapologetically throwing his political views in our face. And when he said this, I canceled my member, because I was paying $40 a month just to watch his program. I had Hulu, the live TV for Hulu, and I was paying for, that's all I had it for Undisputed. And when he said this, he said, this week was the happiest week of my life. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I am done. And this is what I said. Shannon Sharpe is the new iteration of the race hustler. He's a race hustler. He knows what he wants to do. This is not about really helping, quote unquote, the black folks, the Martin Luther King community, Martin Luther King Boulevard community. That's not what he's all about. He's about helping himself. And I'm going to run it down, just watching him for 3, maybe 4 full years every single day, watching anything he puts out, reading, kind of delving into his life based on what he feeds us, and realize this dude is just nothing. He's out for nobody but himself. And that's what race hustlers are. They push the narrative because it's millions and millions of dollars for you to be able to carry water for a certain political view. And that's on both sides. And I saw that. Shannon Sharpe is taking over where Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton left off. These guys will go in a community. I'm talking about Jesse and Al Sharpton will go into communities when some type of quote unquote race situation comes up. Goes to the community leaders or goes to the mayor or goes to the person that's in charge and says, if you don't give me money into my organization, I'm going to make hell for you. And that's what they do. And so what happens, the police department or the government says, hey, we're going to establish this new program called the such and such, such and such, and we're going to donate and pledge $500,000 to the Rainbow Coalition, which is Jesse Jackson's thing, or the Al Sharpton, whatever he did. And when they do that, then Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and their cohorts leave the area, and the actual real victim of any type of race situation is sitting there like, what happened? I was just used. And what can they say? Usually they just a brother or sister, living in the hood, and they just go back to their regular lives. They may get a couple of bucks from the from them, but after that they're gone, and these people are on to the next part. Well, that's where Shannon is headed. Any type of race situation, he does not ask for accountability at all. All he wants, accountability for the people who put themselves in the situation. Usually the person. It says, it's the white folks, it's the white folks, it's the white folks. And I'm sick and tired of hearing that. And I want to speak out about it. Like that, man, I went, and I'm going to show this picture of, I went to the Super Bowl, 2019's or 2020 Super Bowl was in Miami. And I knew Undisputed was going to be there. And I went to the first, and they were going to be live Monday through Friday. And I was there that Monday and sat through the program. And it was the fastest 3 hours. Now, I watched every day, but it was the fastest 3 hours of watching my favorite program live. And I laughed, and it was the same weekend that we found out about the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant. So it wasn't as, the energy wasn't as high, but they did their best to bring it on. Oh, and they were great. I mean, I was just so impressed with Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless runs that program. Actually, the beautiful, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. She's the host. But she came out and said, listen, hey, we know what's happening with the situation with Kobe passing and everything. Just follow Skip. Skip's going to run anything. And Skip ran everything from his chair. And he was incredible. And Shannon was just funny, and he's just, I mean, I just to give him credit, he's a great looking guy. I mean, he looks like a statue. All of these entertainers, these ball players, they're bigger than what you think. They're bigger in person than they look on television. I mean, they are big. And so I was just impressed, and I took a picture with him, and I asked him about his brother, why he hasn't brought his brother Shannon Sharpe on a program, and he said Sterling, like, all he wants to do is golf. So we had a laugh and took a picture. Took a picture with Jenny Taft, and that's the girl's name, and I took a picture with Skip, and Skip wanted to talk. So I was like, man, I don't want to bother you. I'm here to get the picture. But he wanted to talk. He asked me where I was from. And they were just so gracious. And then after that, I mean, I was hooked. I was like, this is my favorite program ever. But then 2020 came, and it was all politics. It was all white people bad, black people victim every single day. And I was sick of it. I mean, I already did. So I saw the transformation coming during his ridiculous defense of Colin Kaepernick. And when I first saw that situation with Colin Kaepernick, I realized I saw him in a Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He came close. It was a year where he went against Baltimore. The last year that Ray Lewis was in Baltimore, and he lost. And I thought he was a pretty good quarterback. He was immensely talented, fast, had a strong arm. But for some reason, he got beat out and got put on a bench and lost his starting job. And all of a sudden, he begins kneeling for the national anthem. And I'm like, why, what's going on? And I'm thinking, I just didn't think anything of it. But because race war pays. Race wars sell ads on the internet. It gets eyes on the television. It gets people to scroll through and become emotional on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and these types of things. So, yeah, kneeling was something that the people who don't give a doggone about us is gonna push it out there. Because again, those same people who claim that we're victims live on the other side of the tracks and never interact with us. Same with Shannon. The only people that Shannon interacts with, if you're not a celebrity, if you're not a ball player, he ain't gonna interact with you. He don't want to have nothing to do with you. He don't want you coming talking to him. He don't want you coming shaking his hand unless it's in some type of venue. He's like that. So he shows it all over. He says it over and over again. Even Skip would say, listen, if I'm at a restaurant and a fan comes over, I will stop. He says that his wife gets irritated. But Skip knows I'm only who I am because these people like me. These people stop watching, I don't get my $6 million a year check. I don't get it anymore. I can't be who I am. So anyway, I saw him, he takes a knee. And I'm like, no big deal. And all of a sudden, again, it gets blown up. The race issues were happening at the same time you were playing in the Super Bowl, Colin Kaepernick. Why didn't you kneel then? You were on the biggest stage for the entire year during the Super Bowl, you did not kneel. You know why? Because you were getting what you wanted. But as soon as your behind got benched, now you were supposed to be Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all of these. No, you're not. You're not fighting for anything. You're not standing for anything. You didn't lose anything. You were already lost. You're already a bench player. You're already on your way out of the NFL. So get out of here with that stuff. I mean, get rid. You were already done. And the only thing you got was people to look at you. Again, I don't even want to. This is not about Kaepernick, but Shannon every other week came in to defend this guy. This guy is disingenuous. Shannon is, as well as Colin Kaepernick. They do not care about us because they do not live in our communities. They do not go into our communities. They do not invest in our communities. You can look at Shannon Sharpe. He has when he gets his Nike boxes and all of his custom shoes and his Rolex watches and his Louis Vuitton bags that he displays when he's on Instagram every time. Who does that money go to? Who's that Louis Vuitton money goes to? It don't come to our community. It goes to the white folks. But these are the same white folks that you're saying are so bad. Why are you giving them $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 per bag if they're so bad? See, it's hypocrisy. Listen to it, see it, understand it, and make your own decisions. Shannon, and this is what, again, and then it goes to this is what really, really proved Shannon Sharpe as a race hustler. Shannon's colleagues, Ray Lewis and Michael Vick, during that Colin Kaepernick situation, they offered their brand of help that wasn't received by woke America. Because the only answer is white people bad, black people victim. That's the only answer they wanted. So Ray Lewis says certain things about, trying to talk and trying to get Colin Kaepernick to open up. And I meant to get that information. And then I remember Mike Vick offered, he said, listen, if you want to get back into the good graces of the NFL to get your starting quarterback job back, cut your hair. Oh, you telling him to cut his hair? Yes, that was a great idea. But Colin Kaepernick did not want to be quarterback anymore. He wanted to do this because this meant that he didn't have to work. He could just be some type of symbol, some type of Afro guy. And so they destroyed, and Shannon Sharpe, instead of defending his friends and intentions. Now, if you don't know about, let me see, you don't know about. Let me just keep going on my points here. I don't want to get off my points. Shannon pushed the COVID hysteria, carried water for the Biden administration, and disavowed anybody who had any association with Trump. This is on a sports program. This is not on CNN, MSNBC, NPR. This is on a sports program. I'm tuning in to hear you love on LeBron and skip clown on LeBron and hear you guys talk about, how great Tom Brady is or how old Tom Brady is. I want to hear that type of stuff. This stuff, it gets me going. It's happy. It just makes those 3 hours, 9:30 a.m. to noon, it makes them just fly by. It makes them fly by. And then all of a sudden, I'm hearing about all of this BS. And that's why. And instead of defending his friends, now Shannon attacked them on live television to promote his place as a civil rights and social justice warrior. He attacked his own close friend. Now, let me tell you about Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharpe were very close. And you can tell their chemistry on air. They were very close. Shannon Sharpe was like a big brother to Ray Lewis. And you, when they were on the program, it just jumped out. You can just tell that they knew what each other was thinking. They just had this thing like, man, we've been in the trenches together. We didn't see, we are close. I even heard that at one time when Ray Lewis was trying to get his life together after he got, got indicted for that murder, that he stayed with Shannon to get himself right, to get his eating right, to get everything right. A lot of Ray Lewis's success, he attributed it to Shannon Sharpe. And then he attacked his friend on national television. Didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. Didn't say, I know Ray, and I know Ray loves us and loves people. And he's doing his best. Would I have done it? No, that wouldn't be my approach, because I believe it's A, B, and C, and D. But Ray Lewis is my friend. And after all of this stuff blows over, Ray Lewis is still going. Nope, he attacked him. And you can tell in their relationship is fractured. Ray Lewis came back on a program a couple of times, but you can tell it wasn't the same. You can tell it wasn't the same. And that's what you do when you willing to sell out your younger brother for more money, for more fame, for more prestige. Shannon, you're already a millionaire. You already have millions. Was it worth it? I'm just one little fan, one little guy. But I would never pay money or a subscription to watch your program. And I've unfollowed you of course, on all social media, but I barely even want to watch you on the little clips of YouTube. That program was so good. I just, when I want to look at some sports stuff, that's what I want to look at. And now I'm back to looking at ESPN. I hated ESPN for getting rid of Skip. And hanging they had on Stephen A. Smith and that sorry old revolutionary, that other joker he's the worst guy on television. Forget his old sorry name. Used to try to be a rapper back in the day. Get the heck out of here. And I was like, I never watched it because the show was terrible. But now I'm watching that show just because they're so Undisputed is worse than ESPN now with Shannon up there. So anyway, but Shannon had no prior relationship with Michael Vick and destroyed him. Even though a Vick appears on Undisputed, there's a sense of tension because of his remarks. Shannon spends an excessive amount of time talking about social justice issues on Undisputed. Any social justice issue, he's on it. He's on it. And it's like, come on, man. Do we have to have 2 or 3 segments about it? He's out front on every police shooting or perceived racial injustice in sports. But he is mostly silent on any issue that holds black athletes accountable for their actions. Some you find the NFL players beating up on their wives or doing this, doing that. He just gonna, he don't like certain people. He don't like. You can tell he don't like them personally. But guess what? Would you rather take Antonio Brown or these other thugs that at the end of the day resisting arrest, not want to stop with the police, not want to comply, or being in a situation where they're dating drug dealers and kingpins and stuff like that? Is Antonio Brown worse than them? I bet you, let me tell you something. Antonio Brown has made more money and helped other black folks by the fact of being employed at the Pittsburgh Steelers and the different places than these jokers have, but you're carrying water for them. How about Deshaun Watson? How about Deshaun Watson? You spend I'm just going to wait till everything comes in. Man, whatever. If it was somebody else, if Deshaun Watson has some race issue or some white person, you'd be destroying them forever. And anybody who would not back you up, it seems like you do your own brother like that. Or your own sister. I know how close you are to them. That's bull, man. If you want to be a political commentator, submit your tape, your audition tape, to CNN, to MSNBC. They will take you. But I know when I want to tune in to CNN, I want to see what's happening in the political world. If I want to know what's happening in the political world, I'm going to look at Fox News. And I do that every time something happens and I'm not sure. I mean, I heard about, my friend called me and said, "Oh man, did you hear what they didn't rush to Congress?" Because I'm not on social media, I didn't see it. So I turned on to make sure it's true. And I watch Fox and CNN so I can gauge what's the truth and what's not truth based on putting them both together. But I don't do that to turn to Undisputed. I want to hear what you had to say about the game last night or the game this weekend. Deshaun Watson is accused of sexual misconduct with 20 plus women and most likely will miss the 2021 NFL season. Shannon has done a few segments on this and he wants to withhold any judgment and to see what the outcome will be. And pretty much after that, you ain't hear nothing else about Deshaun Watson on that tape, bro. If it was a police shooting, oh man, that's gonna go over and over and over and over, over and over and over and over, over and over and over. You guys know the statistics about police shootings. You know, out of the 1,000 people that the police have to shoot, there may be 1% or 5% may be black, white cops shooting black people, and one out of those was unwarranted. Mistake. Guess what? Let me tell you something right here. I'm going to tell you something this right here, right now. I'm not going to get shot by the police resisting arrest. I'm not. Just not going to do it. I don't carry myself like that. I don't resist. When I get pulled over with all my degrees, and I make about 1.5 times more than any police officer that's going to pull me over, if not twice as more. And I'm not going to get out there. I'm not going to thumb my nose up. I'm just going to put my hands on the steering wheel and let them know every aspect. And for the most part, after the second time you tell him I'm going to reach in for this, they're ready to leave because they know they done pulled over something. They're like, why am I pulling you over? Even though you ran a red light or you was going to speed, let me get back out there and find the real criminals. But that's all you have to do. You didn't pull me over to profile me. So what? You made profile. I used to get profiled all the time growing up in Detroit. They used to pull us over all the time. You know what? We didn't care about it because we knew we were profiled because we needed to be profiled. That's right. I needed to be profiled when I was a kid because that kept me on my toes. They kept me from having drugs in the car, drinking and driving, and doing something I'm not supposed to do because I know the police are going to pull my behind over real quick. This is how it is. I don't get pulled over no more, man. It's been a while since you still have, and I'm going to be honest, you still have a little bit of fear when the police gets behind you, but who else? Who doesn't? Let me know who doesn't. Have fear when the police gets behind you. You ain't doing nothing wrong. It just happens like that. Anyway, let me keep going. Shannon has a and again, he acts like he's so, such a voice for the community. And I did a simple search for Shannon Sharpe charitable work. The last recorded thing they have for Shannon Sharpe was in 2014 on the internet. All the rest of they had nothing. He has no type of outwardly charitable foundations and does anything in the MLK in the MLK community. He barely, you know why? Because he lives in Bel Air. Skip calls him out all the time. His palatial estate in Bel Air, up on top of the hill, looking down. That's where he lives at, Bel Air, California. Not in the hood, not in Oakland, not in South Central. Not even in that one black community, This just be a TV show back in the day of black affluent community out in LA. I can't think of it. Hopefully I'll put it up here once I think about it. But not even there. Out with the white folks. His last girlfriend was white. Mr. All white folks are bad and racist. That's what I'm saying, man. Stop that, because you're not the voice. You're not the voice. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton did not help us at all. These over political comedians, they don't help us at all. They don't help us at all. They're just doing what they're saying what they're saying so they can get more TV shows, so they can make more money. That's all it's about. It's money. So Shannon comes off as selfish and solely focused on his goals and his needs. He talks about it all the time, how selfish he had to be successful in football. How he's a recluse. He doesn't go anywhere. As if he doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't do anything, so you never see him out. He's not a person I would want to be, honestly, at first it would have been nice to say, man, I would be friends with him and sit back and listen to him and watch him do his thing. But no, I don't want to have anything to do, because I don't like people who aren't who are disingenuous, man. They're not genuine. We know what you're doing is for, man. You're just a talking head now. Now I did the same search about Ray Lewis, and boom, the Ray Lewis Foundation, Power 52, all of these things he's doing. He's out front trying to help the community, and then we kill him for it. F y'all for that, man. Y'all ain't gonna kill me. Y'all ain't gonna take me out from doing this. I'm gonna keep going forward. I got a vision, and I think I know what we need. Actually, we know what we need. We just need to get more people doing it. That's all. Race hustlers are the most detrimental and destructive forces in the black community. They teach and push victimhood and very, very little, if no, accountability. Remember, I used to watch, I love gangster rap. Grew up with gangster rap. Grew up on that stuff. Then you had, what's his name? Russell Simmons. One of the godfathers of rap and production and stuff like that. Head of Def Jam and stuff. And they'll question him on it. So what about all of these things about the bees and these hoes and gangster and violence? Oh, they're just saying their political poetry and giving their truths out. And it would make an excuse for them. No, it ain't. It's just you guys are making money on getting kids to perpetuate the same type of destruction that we've had for generations. We make heroes out of villains. Heroes out of villains. I talked about that on my last program. That we're taught to be mean. We're taught to be tough through our music. And so that's what these race hustlers do. They say, no, there's no accountability. Say what you want. Listen, Ice Cubes and all these people, they ain't shot a gun. They ain't been in jail. They married. They send their kids to private schools and different things like that. They have every creature comfort. They ain't hood. They ain't whatever. Get the heck out of here, man. We ain't stupid. So stop. So listen, our number one issue is that we're not taking any accountability for our actions. We're always the goddamn victim, which we're not. We create victims of our other brothers and our other sisters. That's why I had to moved from where I was. I stayed 2 years in the hood, and I got a video series about staying in the hood. It was the worst thing in the world, man. It's a jungle. It's crazy over there. These people are insane, loud, junky, dirty, trashy, violent, intimidating, inconsiderate. They're not victims. They make victims out of their neighbors. Their kids make victims out of the neighbors. They profit. We were talking about these race hustlers, like Shannon. They profit from blacks being in dire situations and will try to convince us that things are terrible when they're the best they've ever been. Last 20 years, tell me anybody. When has race held you back from anything? Man, Reparations. You know what that's I know 3 people that have received in excess of $20,000 in PPP loans. These loans that was given out during the pandemic for people who had businesses. And 3 of them, a barber, an Uber driver, and an e-commerce person. 2 of them got 40 grand. You know what that's called? Reparations. Let's see where that money goes. Let's see if it builds a community, or is it going to build the Louis Vuitton community, the Gucci community, and the Air Jordan community, and the Nike community, and a gold community, and the iPhone community. That's who's going to get. That's the community that's going to grow. It's not going to be our community. That crap ain't going to be invested back into our community. And they do not interact with their community unless a camera or a photo opportunity is gained. They will not do it. You will not see them there. You won't see them. But guess what? Ray Lewis does that. That's why they hate him so much. Ice Cube did this thing where he tried to go. He had an initiation, and I'm gonna put it up here because I forget what it is. I think it's it's gonna be right here. I'm gonna put it up. I like it over here. I'll put it up. Everything's gonna go up over here. The one that Ice Cube did. And because he wanted to, he reached out to the Biden before Biden got in office. Biden told him, come holler at me after the election. So he said, all right, got you. He went over to Trump, and Trump gave him some time when they're talking about it, and they killed him for that. So you working for Trump? Trump is not the devil, y'all. Y'all stupid Negroes. Trump is not the devil. What is wrong with y'all? Good grief. And I'm going to say this right now. Shannon Sharpe, you're the sellout, man. You sold us out. While you sitting up in there in your Bel Air palatial estate, in your beautiful home, in your gated community, you selling us out. He sells a narrative given to him so he can profit and maintain his extraordinary lifestyle. He has sold his talents and fame to others in America to keep blacks in a state of victimhood. And he's doing it every single day. That's why I won't turn into your program and give y'all no more money. I don't know how I'm going to hear about sports. I just do it a different way. Because I don't want to hear all that BS, man. You know, I loved you, Unc, man. You were my favorite personality on television. I told everybody about it. Now, you just a sellout, man. Selling us out.